You are live.
All right, well, welcome everybody to the virtual meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Elections on August 19th, 2021. It is now 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call, Eileen Leahy, present.
Brianna Cuffey, present.
Rebecca Brenia, present.
Regina Watkins Eldridge, City Clerk, present.
Susan Eckert, Elections Administration Assistant, present.
Ashley Leonard, Assistant City Attorney, present.
Okay, the gang's all here now. So we'll move on to public testimony. We had a submission on August 10th, meant for the jury. It was actually given during the August 10th meeting, but since it was received afterwards, I put it on for this evening. It was from David Frankel, 579 King James Landing Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Submissions for tonight's meeting. We received a certified letter in regards to the mail-in elections from Janet Katz, 143 Spa Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. We received a web form from David Frankel, 979 King James Landing Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403, with some questions. We received a web form from Lawrence L. Harris Jr., 1999 Forest Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401, in regards to signage. Then we received another submission from David Frankel, 979 King James Landing Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403, with an inquiry. And then we received a web form submission from George Gallagher of 1212 Barbud Lane, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403, in regards to the Ward 7 polling place, which I can address later when we get to questions and answers. Okay, I think I got them all. All right, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. I've had a chance to look at them. I know, Rebecca, you were not present for them. So that leaves you, Brianna, if you have anything to change, otherwise make a motion to accept.
I didn't have anything aside from the fact that I realized just how many meetings we have had since July. And I was like, wait, why are there so many attachments?
All right, well, let's go through each one of them. July 15th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Aye.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, July 26th, 2021.
Motion to approve the minutes from July 26th.
All right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
July 30th, 2021.
All right.
Motion to approve minutes for July 30th.
All right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then approval of minutes for August 10th, 2021.
Motion to approve the minutes for August 10th.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, approval for all four of those. Thank you, Susan, for getting them out. I know that was a lot of watching recordings and getting everything written down, so I appreciate it. All right, well, I'm next on the agenda. I'm very excited to welcome our new member, Rebecca Brenia. As anyone who is watching this evening may know, that Clifford Myers moved out of the city and so needed to resign from the Board of Supervisors of Elections. So he was a Republican, and so he was replaced with a Republican, and we're very happy to have Rebecca be willing to join us on this last lap, which is the crazy lap. And Rebecca, just
what a time to join.
Yeah.
But I just want to give you an opportunity to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. My name's Rebecca Brenia, and I live in West Annapolis with my husband and 3 kids. And I'm looking forward to serving on this board, and it's exciting to see new types of elections happening in Annapolis. And I'm happy to be a part of making sure that things go as smoothly as possible.
Well, great. Well, I think one of the things when we met, I was really appreciated from your experience is that you have voted in 3 different states. I think you said Texas,
Yeah.
Connecticut, and Maryland. And I think that's a great opportunity to bring that experience forward with you. So,
Yes, thanks.
great. All right. Okay, the next order of business is the questions from candidates and the public. This was put on the agenda as a follow-up to our August 10th meeting. We don't usually have it, but we included it after that meeting because this year's election, for many reasons, is going to be a little different. And one of them is that we are only going to have a primary election where voters get ballots in wards 3, 4, and 8. And the other wards will be receiving a letter explaining why they're not getting a ballot, but also talking about what who will be running in the general election. So as part of that, we made a public announcement that candidates and the public could put forth some questions. So I've kind of consolidated a number of questions. I don't want to spend too much time on this because many of the answers to questions can be found if you go to the City of Annapolis elections website. There is a frequently asked questions section there. And also if it's not already there, will shortly be a form about the mail-in elections more specifically. So I do encourage you to go ahead and to go to those resources. The Anne Arundel County State Board of Elections is also an excellent resource, particularly if you want to check your addresses or update your addresses or check on its status. Okay, and so some of these came from web forms, some came through some other avenues. One question is, what is ballot harvesting? So ballot harvesting is when unauthorized individuals or groups collect ballots from voters who they assume will be depositing them appropriately with the Board of Elections. The way to prevent that is to really make sure that voters understand, don't give your ballot to someone you don't know. There's no one from the Board of Elections that is going to come around and ask for your ballot. Okay, so I think that's the biggest part of prevention, is just understanding you don't have to give it up. You shouldn't give it up unless you know somebody. Now, can a voter get assistance with voting? Yes, they can get assistance with voting, but the person assisting the voter has to have the permission of the voter, and there is a form that needs to be completed and submitted, and it's called the Certification of Person Assisting Mail-in Voter Form. And that form can be found on the city elections webpage. You can just download it. If you need a paper copy, if you don't have access to a computer, you can certainly call the elections office at 410-263-7929, and we can send one out to you.
I believe one should also come with the ballot too. I know they
Yes.
did the last go round.
Exactly. Good point. Questions about signature verification for ballots. Currently, it's not available in the state of Maryland, but technological advances in software are becoming more available. And when we met with the city council back in, I guess it was July, Joe Torrey of the Anne Arundel County Board of Elections did mention that they were beginning to look at some of the software. And apparently the software actually appears to be a better option than human, because there's a higher rate of human error. I know for myself, my signature when I registered to vote at 18 is a lot different than it is now. So it's currently not available, but we're looking forward to the future as a possibility. Another question, how often are the voter rolls updated? Maryland is a member of ERIC, which is the, Electronic Registration Information Center, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that sends reports to member states, identifying voters who have moved within their state, voters who have moved out of state, voters who have died, duplicate registrations in the same state, and individuals who are potentially eligible to vote but are not yet registered. So that, I believe, they get reports every other week, the State Board of Elections. And then in addition, the Anne Arundel County State Board of Elections does it a number of times during the week. So these voter rolls are never going to be 100% accurate because we as a society are moving around, but they are looked at least a few times a week and updated. It is the voter's responsibility when they move to notify the Board of Elections that they've moved and to give their new address. If you receive a ballot at your residence that it goes to somebody that may be in your family that has moved, please ask that individual to please notify the Board of Elections, or you can notify the Board of Elections either at the county level or at the city level. But it's really important. That's how we keep these rolls updated, is because it is the voter's responsibility to let us know. So you can really help us out with making sure that that's done. If you receive a ballot in the mail from someone you don't know, again, call the Board of Elections and it'll be taken care of. Okay, so hopefully that will help people who I know are uncomfortable or nervous about how the voter rolls are operating, because we are sending mail-in ballots out.
And I know if I recall correctly, the data they sent us earlier this summer were way below the national and I think the state margin of as far as discrepancies and registered voters. Too.
Out of about 25,000 voter registration cards that were sent out, it was less than 7%. That doesn't mean that they went to dead people or they went to the wrong people. In many cases, they actually were referred, and we were able to update the rolls based on that. Particularly maybe with the summer with people moving. So that was good news for us. Mail-in ballots will be mailed on or about August 30th for the primary election, and then in October for the general election. Drop boxes are slated actually to go out tomorrow, I believe. Regina, is that still on schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So be waiting for that. So that should be interesting. Again, all those drop boxes will be camera ready and will be monitored 24/7. Rebecca, you had a really good question the other day about how long those tapes are stored for and reviewed. And that question has gone in, has been sent. Regina sent it to the appropriate person, and we haven't gotten a response yet, but we are following up on it. I mentioned earlier that not everybody will be getting a ballot for the primary election, only those in wards 3, 4, and 8. Answered that question. What do I do if I don't get a ballot in the mail? Well, for the primary election, if you don't receive your ballots by, say, September 14th, call the city election office at 410-263-7929, or you can call the county office at 410-222-6600. Okay. And then the last question is, someone asked why or noted that the Ward 7 polling location is not located in the city and not located in the ward. Since 2009, the public schools have not been available for the municipal elections in Annapolis. In 2009, Georgetown East Elementary School was available for Ward 7, but afterwards it was not. And so there literally is not a place in Ward 7 that follows, I even have it written down, code 4.08.100, which are libraries, schools, churches, fire halls, or any other public building. So the Eastport Library has been used since then. Also in 2017, the Annapolis Neck Fire Department was used. They are both always very willing to be election places and very well accepted. They're close to Ward 7. They have ample parking and meet all the other criteria. So, so we'll be continuing to utilize them. Any other questions that you all got? Those are the ones I have.
None on mine end.
Nope. All right, well, if there's no other questions, we'll move on to discussion. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Regina and Susan, on the city elections office update.
This is Regina. Basically, we have been moving forward with all the good stuff that's been going on, and just a lot of the little things like notifying everyone regarding the upcoming deadlines for campaign fund reports, and and putting information on the city's website election page. We've been doing a lot of work with that this week, and drafting the primary election ad. So there's been a lot of moving pieces and going on right now, but we're in a good place. We're not falling behind. We've met all of our deadlines, and I think that's all I have right now.
Okay. I know that there have been some reports of signage on city property or county property, along with some signage that hasn't had authority lines written on them. So the ones we become aware of, we do research them, and we do send out notices. So for the public, if you are seeing these, again, please just submit a web form to us so that we can investigate and take care of the situation.
So I did, Eileen, I did speak with the Deputy Director of Planning and Zoning, who used to be the Deputy Director of the DNEP department. And during the last election, the DNEP department was a department that went out to view the election signs. And if they were in public right-of-ways, they removed the signs. So they are very much aware that the election signs are currently out, and they will be monitoring the areas as they drive through during the workday.
Okay, so that's DNEP.
Well, they're under planning and zoning right now.
Okay, so it's not under public works.
No.
Okay, I thought it was under planning.
It's DNEP, the department is under planning and zoning, but
Gotcha.
if the public works trucks are out, planning and zoning could probably have them pick the signs up. But the inspector in DNEP will probably be taking care of that.
And who is the inspector in DNEP?
Actually, I forgot what his name is because I knew you were going to ask me.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I don't remember.
That's okay.
His name right.
That's easy to find.
I know John Manasseh.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yes. And I left him a message yesterday.
Okay.
So I haven't heard from him today.
Okay. Susan, anything you want to add? I know you've been juggling a lot on the phone and on the website.
No, trying to make sure the website is up to date with information. And I just had our webmaster kind of do some rearranging on the homepage or the main page for the elections, so that frequently asked questions is kind of sort of up at the top, and things, all the candidate documentation sort of been moved down because we are not having any more new candidates. So we've been kind of working on that, getting the frequently asked questions up. Starting Tuesday, well, Tuesday is the deadline for campaign fund reports. So trying to be ready for an onslaught of campaign fund reports coming in. And I've got my checklist to kind of go through and do a quick overview of those and get those ready for the board to look at.
Okay, well, we'll be going over that in a few minutes. So that's a lot. I guess also as part of this, any updates between you, Susan, and Brianna on the communications plan?
Everything's kind of going out according to plan. We've been keeping our eye on with the lawsuits and everything that was going on, just in case there was anything we need to stop. But everything is pretty much going still full steam ahead. The social media still continues. We have confirmation of payment processing information and all of that for bus wraps. Those should be starting in the next couple of weeks, so people should start seeing those out soon. Those are all evergreen communications, just, you know, an FYI that it's an election year. The link to the election website, and a graphic of, you know, people at like an election booth. So it's be coming out. And
Are there proofs available yet for that?
I have some that I can forward along.
Okay, if you can send those out.
Yep.
Excuse me, Eileen.
Yes.
Don't forget the correspondence with the post office.
Oh, okay. I got that. Yeah.
And then one thing, just a thought to share, and this might be duplicative of other efforts, but since we do have the letter that's going to all registered voters, that is just one letter, would it be appropriate to share that with the city's database of like neighborhood associations and homeowners associations so that they could send that out through their communication channels to neighborhood groups in the city?
We could make that recommendation to Mitchell Stevenson. She's the city's public information officer. She could take care of that.
Yeah, let's talk to Mitch. Mitchell's on the communications plan, so let's talk to her and see if it's something, because I know there is a list.
Yeah.
And there's actually some that probably could be added to the list. So, no, that's a great recommendation. So, Brianna, can you follow up on that with Mitchell?
Can do.
Okay. Also along that line, we have had a report, particularly from Ward 3, about concern about the mail of the U.S. Postal Service. Some of the residents are observing that they go a couple of days without any mail, which is unusual, or if they place mail in their mailboxes, it's not getting picked up. There has been information out that I guess there's a backlog of mail up in Baltimore, and so postal workers from various areas around Baltimore have been pulled to work up there. In response to residents' requests, Regina and Mitchell and Lynn Farrow, both in the mayor's office, have been reaching out to the Annapolis and the Baltimore postmaster, and also out to the office of Congressman John Sarbanes. And I believe Congressman Sarbanes sits on a committee that oversees the Postal Service. So we did get an email today saying that the postmasters are aware of the election and are going to be following the protocols and will be monitoring it. So they're going to be monitoring it and we're going to be monitoring it, but we really do want to make sure that voters are going to be getting their mail and get their ballots in a timely manner. We may recommend to people, again, if you're concerned about mail pickup, we've got 8 drop boxes in the city. They're all at the polling locations and you can drop one in any box. So if you live in Ward 3 and you work downtown, you can drop it off in Ward 8 or Ward 1. It doesn't matter where you drop your ballot. So please use those drop boxes. Particularly if you're concerned about mail service in your area. Again, if you have any concerns, please don't hesitate to let us know. Regina?
Oh, no, I don't have anything.
Okay. Anything else on that note? So I think we're good. There was a letter also that went out today from the mayor's office too. So we're on it. Anything else for updates? Is everything set up for when people start coming in if they want to drop their ballots off at City Hall?
Well,
Are you
not as of right now.
Okay, so if someone comes into City Hall with their ballot, are you going to take it there or are you going to ask them to put it in the drop box?
We're still working on that scheduling with the county.
Okay.
Because typically they give us a bag and it's a locking bag. It has a seal on it. And if somebody drops it off the county with our office, we have them stick it in the locking bag. And then the county comes and trades bags with us. That's what they did at the last election.
Well, if you could verify that with them, because when I asked the question of if someone walks into a polling location with a ballot, the election judges are instructed to tell the person to put it in the drop box.
Okay.
To accept it. So
well, there's a drop box right in front of City Hall, so they don't need to bring it to us.
So I think we just need to make sure that that everybody's on the same page, especially if there's someone else accepting it other than you and Susan. And along that same lines, we did talk about putting together a script for questions that may be coming into your office.
I just wanted to let you know that the specimen ballot was posted on the city's website on the 16th, and it was also placed in the hallway of City Hall.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, we're just going to leave them up.
Okay. So, Rebecca, for your information, posting and a lot of the types of things that we're doing now is for the public's benefit. So people can come in and access the ballots and check. And also it's to make sure we're not making any mistakes either, that there's no errors.
We're also going to have Daniel is going to be sending us after he places the drop boxes tomorrow. He's going to be sending us pictures of the drop boxes in place, and we're going to put those drop box locations pictures on the city's website. So if you actually want to see what it looks like, you can go there to do that. So we're going to be working on that after they get finished with placement tomorrow.
Did the signage come in that goes on them?
Brian is working with Daniel about that. With that, and I think it did, because I think that I saw an email with the invoice. So I'm pretty
sure. When he takes the pictures, we'll know. All right. Okay. Next item on the agenda is legislation update. There has been some internal work looking at a proposal for creating some ordinances for election law. This one, it's on municipal elections. And currently that is on hold. Ashley, do you want to say anything more about that, or just we've decided we're going to look at it after the elections?
Yeah, we're going to look at it in conjunction with the Charter Revision Commission to try and do a more comprehensive review of the whole elections laws versus more of a piecemeal approach.
Right. I think that's what the board's concern was, is that we were doing some piecemeal.
Sorry.
That's it. Hey, honey. we did put in the independent expenditures.
Yeah, I mean,
we had pressure from the state to get that done.
The state wanted us to do independent expenditures, and then we've done stuff that is necessity, like, for example, the Canvas date that needed to be done.
Right.
But I think it is generally a better idea to try and approach all of this sort of together, especially since there's a lot of big ideas for changing the election laws, and we want to make sure that it's all sort of consistent with each other versus doing some legislation now and then, like, in a couple of months turning around and overhauling something completely different. So I think that is the position that we've taken as of the moment.
Also be good to go into that with the experience from this election.
Yeah, I agree, because even any legislation we would pass now couldn't apply to this election anyway. We're too far gone in the process to do any big changes. So yes, we can benefit from how this election goes in crafting anything we do in the future for more permanent.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Ashley. I know you worked hard on putting that together. So.
It won't go to waste, but it gives us a base to work from. And then I never take any criticism from when people want to do changes or comments or overhaul. So it's a good base to have, and we'll just keep it in the roster for when we need it.
All right, great. Thank you. Any other comments on that topic? All right, on to our favorite subject, campaign fund reports. So Regina and Susan, my understanding of the process we're going to use this year is that when the reports come in, they're going to be posted on the website.
That is correct.
And then Susan has a worksheet that she and Cliff Myers worked on to do an initial run through.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to look at them more closely. So I think the feedback we need tonight is, how do we want to address it? Do we want to, do the three of us want to get do a second pass on all of the reports, or do we want to divvy them up and then review them? Because we'll end up reviewing some of them 3 times probably. Any thoughts on what you all want to do?
I'm fine with looking at all of them, I guess. And then, well, no, we have a lot. I take that back. We have a lot more people. Maybe I don't.
Well, we have 8 wards. Some of them don't have candidates.
Well, and there's a number of people that aren't raising money, so they shouldn't have.
Right. The central committee members are not raising money, so they have signed an affidavit, so they don't have to file.
Yeah. So, well, then, yeah, I'm still fine with looking at all of them. That way we can all have our notes to cross-check.
Okay.
The next meeting.
Is it 10 that we're expecting?
Yeah,
No, it's going to be a lot more than 10.
Oh.
Right.
9,
Oh,
it's
6
going to be
and
more like
9.
16.
Don't forget the people that are, have campaigns that were open that are not involved directly in the election. They still have to report.
Right, but there's only one of those,
At least 2 that I know of.
Mr.
I was
Moyer
gonna say,
and
And
And-
Alderman
and
Payon.
Alderman Payon.
It-
Okay.
Yes.
And yeah,
Historically, there are some that do, I mean, so many of the errors are just little errors, and I'm hoping with the updates to the forms that may go away, things like just adding incorrectly. If you're game, Rebecca, we'll try and do all of them each, and then if it's too much, we'll just go from there. We can always split them up or see how we do it the next go round.
Yeah, I mean, as a new person, I'm not really, I'm not sure exactly what I'm getting into, although it sounds super fun from the way that
They're usually our longest meetings, even though when they're long, they're literally like an hour and a half. So it's still not bad.
Right.
Well,
and
that's not too bad.
unfortunately, we're meeting virtually, so we can't sit at the big table and just rotate
Shift
them
the
around
papers around. Yeah.
like we do. But I think also with Susan doing a first draft, that would be great. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we could send out, not necessarily just a reminder that they're due, but because of the increased number of fundraisers that seem to be going on this year, also with social media, can we send out to remind people that donors' names and addresses for each ticket need to be included on these fund reports, even if they pay online or with a credit card?
Mhm.
And also that all expenditures related to fundraisers, social media, advertising, signs, et cetera, should all be listed in their expenditures. So they can do spreadsheets if they want to submit those, but they've got to be there. And then the third thing I was thinking of is to let the incumbents, remind the incumbents that the forms have been updated. They haven't really radically changed, but they've been updated. So I'm really hoping that they're going to use the new form and just not go back to the ones they've gotten their computers from.
I've notified them that there is the form.
Great.
So hopefully, but
Right. And I know you have that in the candidate handbook. And also when I say candidates, it also means treasurers need to be informed.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. I've sent emails to both candidates and treasurers separately.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the candidates, share it with your treasurer, but in case they didn't, I just made sure I sent it to the treasurers too. And I sent them the link to the new form. So hopefully they will use that form and not something that they've used in the past, but
Right.
Who knows?
Now,
Why we love you, Susan. This is why.
Now, how do we see this working, Susan and Regina, with Susan does a first pass? And then are you going to give us the checklist that you've done along with it, or you're just going to have us do our own and then compare them?
Well, we were thinking once they came in, the first thing we're going to do so people don't swamp us with trying to figure out who has what amount of money is get them posted. We're going to get them posted, give them to Susan, let her do her review, make the notes, add them to the individual reports and send them to you. So there should be a cover page on the front of each report.
Okay, and then we'll just double check
and you
that.
can write on your cover pages and compare.
Okay, and then if we see other ones or questions, we can add them. All right, that sounds good.
Yes.
And if I recall, after the last time we had to look at these, you all did put together some standardized letters to go out.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're going to look through those in the next couple of days. But do realize that according to the code, if there are any errors with the reports, that they have a 30-day turnaround. So they're going to be on top of each other because you have a report on the 24th, the 14th, the 20 something.
Right.
It's like every couple of weeks.
It's another gift that the city code gives us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically.
I'm being very optimistic about it this year.
I'm withholding my optimism until I see how this first round goes.
Okay. Well, we like to remind everybody that by us doing it, we're saving the city between $10,000 and $15,000
Every time.
Absolutely.
when the accountants used to do it. And
There were
didn't-
$2,500 a bundle.
Yeah, so that was a lot of money, and they were just adding up the numbers and not looking to see for compliance with code. Okay, and then we did have one candidate that has an outstanding campaign who says he's going to close it, and he got his information today, I think, from you and I, Regina.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Has he closed his account?
he's going to.
He's in the process of closing it.
Okay, because he did
So-
inquire about that, I don't know, a week or a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't sure where it stood.
Right. So Rebecca, for your information, when a candidate closes their account, if they still have money in the account, they can either give it to, well,
The city, the
They
central
can-
committee,
so he's got to give it to the central committee, and they've got to give him, then he's got to give it to the campaigns. Is that correct? I might have to look at what my response to him was.
yeah, the code states that if you have monies left over, you can donate the money to the city to defray the cost of the election, or donate it to the central committee, or I think you told him a candidate, he could do that.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to check that code. Ashley, do you know offhand? I'm thinking it is just the central committee, and
Yeah,
But
let
I
me
think-
check. But
I'm not sure you can give it directly to a candidate. I think you can give it to the central committee and ask them to give it. And I may have given incorrect information.
I think that's true, and though that is subject to any limitations to candidates.
Right. So can we check that, and I'll send him a note tonight just saying it's being looked at, and then we'll follow up with him. That's my error. Okay, anything else? No. Do you have anything, Susan or Regina?
No, ma'am.
Nope.
Ashley?
Oh, you did, did you
no,
update Rebecca?
nothing
on the
further, but I will
deadline?
look for that code section.
Okay. I'm sorry, what, Regina?
I'm sorry, did you update Rebecca on the deadlines where you guys have to be at the county?
Yeah, I think you said there was an update, but I don't remember seeing that come through.
Susan sent it today.
Susan sent it out like right around when our call started.
Yeah,
Right.
today.
All right, so we'll look at it. What was changed?
The times that we have to be there, or that you have to be there, but I'm going to be there too. For like the voter bag look at, there's like 3 dates in
All right, I'll
September
look at it.
before the primary, and the times I originally had were different from what Joe Torre told
Right,
us.
he moved him
So
up to 8 o'clock, didn't he?
two
One
of them
of
are
them
at
is
8 and one is at 10, and I can't tell you, but they're highlighted on the
I was gonna
thing
say
that
that she highlighted it. I
Okay,
remember I
I
took a
did
quick look
receive
at
it.
it.
and did he give the date for the Canvas training?
It's on the same day as something else of those 3 dates.
Okay, because the last time I talked with him, they didn't have a date because I
Oh,
asked,
right,
we didn't do it the last time, but this year apparently it's mandatory that we do the training.
right.
It looks like it's on the 10th, if I'm reading the spreadsheet.
September, okay.
Yeah, I think he said he was going to tell us what time, but we're already going to be there, I think, at 8 o'clock for something else. So I would assume it would follow that.
Well, it depends on what they're training canvassers, I think.
Oh,
And
they're training other canvassers that day.
I think we're gonna be part of that. So
Okay.
we can clarify that. We can also, as we work on these campaign fund reports, if we need to have a meeting to review them together, we can use some of that time too. So,
Mhm.
okay.
And anytime there's a quorum, that's a meeting. So
Correct.
if there's any downtime.
Right. And I also told Rebecca, as the Republican, she kind of always has to go because they strongly encourage it to be a bipartisan group, which is understandable. So, but you know, we'll make it fun.
This is true.
It's interesting. I remember going up to the county. I was blown away by the size and the organization of it. It's a huge warehouse. It's unbelievable. So, and they're very welcoming. I
And
only
they
have-
make great food.
and they
Oh, well,
have great food.
then I'm good.
There's barbecues. They cook out.
Yes.
I just have one other question. I guess Hillary Raftovich was asking what our plans were for our September meetings, if we're going to meet virtually or in person. I believe when we discussed it earlier, we were planning to meet in person in September, but wanted to check with you all to see if you're still okay with that. And of course, Rebecca, you weren't part of that discussion, so.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. My vaccine is still within its date. It has not expired yet.
Okay.
I'm still fine with it. You just might catch me in my mask.
Okay. Well, if we're going to have it at City Hall, we have to have masks on.
Yeah.
There you go. Then I'll be there.
All right. Does that work for you, Regina and Susan?
Works for me.
Sure.
Okay. And Ashley, hopefully you can join us. If not, we have your phone number.
Yeah, I will let you know.
But we don't know where you live yet. So, all right. So I will let her know that we're going to stick with in person for September.
A lot of the boards and commissions won't be meeting in person until after the new council has been sworn in.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's beneficial for us if we can, especially as we're reviewing things.
Yeah, as I say, we're a little different.
It's efficient, and we'll be up at the in Glen Burnie for some things. So our next regular meeting is September 16th. The public forums the public meetings that we've mentioned, I'm just doing this for the benefit of anybody that's watching this meeting, either now or later. There are a number of demonstrations that are open to the public that include accuracy and testing of the machines, random testing of the big things that they send equipment in. I'm losing my thought, but there are a number so they are posted in the election calendar, and they are open to the public, and those dates are there. So, feel free to come join us. Also, the
And just an
candidates, which
FYI, you
should
do
be
have a
open.
campaign fund report coming in 2 days before your next meeting.
Right. Is that the next one after the 24th?
Yes, September 14th.
Okay, so it's August 24th and then September
14th.
14th. Okay, well, we'll be reviewing them that night. That's another reason just to do it in person so we can sit at the big table. Okay. All right, questions? Anything else?
Rebecca, we did order you a name tag. It should be in a couple of days. And guys, you got to find your name tag.
I
so
know
when you
where
go to
mine
the
is. It's very important, Rebecca.
I
So
found mine earlier this summer. I already put it aside.
Regina
Good
does
for you.
not mess around with her name tags. We have to wear them. Actually, we're
You
supposed to
have
wear
to
them when
have
we're
your
up in-
name tag. Yeah.
So, and we're supposed to wear it when we're up in the county office. So
Yes.
when we go up for those public demonstrations, we need to have them on.
So I'm going to check on yours with Karen tomorrow.
I'll follow the uniform rules.
Thank you.
Regina's very laid back, except for some things, and this is one of them. All right. Anything else? Geez, we did really well. It's only 7:44.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Nope. All right. Well, we got a lot done. We've been doing a lot of work. So kudos, particularly to Susan and Regina, also Ashley, and all the people in the clerk's office.
Eileen and Brianna and Rebecca, you're going to get your turn soon. So thank you.
I'm sure I will. Thanks.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good energy here, and we're going to bring it into the election season, and I think it's going to work out really well. So, all right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn at 19:44.
All right. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Okey
Thank you,
dokey.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.